inside. You and I can be anything if we only take the time to try. We can climb over anything together, you and I.
Hello there, welcome to Beyond Challenges on your number one television, OSRC, the nation's star station. My name is Oladunni and I'm your host on the show. As you know by now, Beyond Challenges is a platform where we celebrate persons living with disabilities who have somehow made it beyond their disabilities. They are above it all. And we have a special guest in the house today, but before we meet our guest for today, I'd like to take you on a quick break, and when you meet a really special personality that you agree with me is indeed beyond challenges. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
What I'm about to share with you is a story that will make you think twice before you complain. A story that had a huge impact on me and that I'll probably never forget. It's a story of a powerful man with a powerless body. A story that should be known by all of us. And it begins many years ago when Irfan started to gradually become incapable to move because of a rare disease. Until finally he lost control over his body and has been like this for over 19 years. Now the only thing he can move is this. Without a doubt, the most powerful finger in the world, because this story has a positive twist. Irfan, who's living an incredibly tough life that not many of us could survive, taught himself English and with this one finger managed to write 3 books. He's 37 years old, but 10 years ago doctors said that he will live on up to 18, which means he has no time to waste on complaining. He only has time to focus on writing his books, sharing his thoughts with the world and making the best out of his situation. You and me are not forced to be in bed. You and me can move more than just one finger. You and me can do whatever we want, but you and me, we choose to complain. We complain about the slightest things in life. When I'm sore after a workout, I complain about it. I complain when I have too many messages to respond to. I complain when my grandparents call me too often. Or sometimes I complain about the unstable weather, which puts me in a mean mood. Forgetting that I'm lucky to be able to work out, have many friends, loving grandparents, and that I can feel the rain on my face. And this happens to all of us. As we spend time complaining about things we should not complain about, let's remember the story of Irfan, who has been a real inspiration to me, and now hopefully to you. He is the definition of a hyperhuman, and you know what? If you ever meet him, you won't see him complain, because he already started working on his next book.
Welcome back from that break. I'm sure you've learned a thing or two. Yes, we get challenged every day and we learn every day. So follow us on our social media platforms. Remember, on Facebook is Beyond Challenges with Oladunni, and on Instagram is simply Beyond Challenges. Well, I'm really excited about the next segment because that's the part where we get to meet our celebrity for the week. And I told you earlier, it is indeed really special. Alright, what makes our celebrity for today tick? What makes him tick? Let's go find out. We'll be right back. Don't go away. His name is Femi Oladuni. Born on the 24th of November 1988, he was born in a small town in Ikorodu called Izio, Ikorodu local government in Lagos State.
And I'm from polygamous home. My parents, Basically, in Nigeria, they are in Ikorodu right now. And I'm the fourth of the family, four boys, one girl. That's from my mom. And from my dad, we are generally nine. So I'm the fourth, actually. So I went to local government primary school. That's my primary school education. Then I moved to the secondary school, where I went to Dollarfield College. From Dollarfield College, I went to a public school, which is the Isiu Senior Grammar School, just to write my O-level certification exams, like WAEC and NECO. So from there, I actually proceeded to university. I went to Lagos State University, LASU Ojo campus, where I studied law. So from there, I actually went to the law school. In 2014, I was called as barrister and solicitor of Supreme Court of Nigeria. And then I practiced as a lawyer for almost 3 years before leaving the country. So last year, I bagged my LLM degree, that is my master's degree in medical law, policy, and bioethics. So that is my academic background. And yes, currently I'm working, and I'm working with the state of Indiana, Department of Health, as a case investigator, COVID-19 case investigator, basically. So
It all started when a strange illness hit their home and claimed the life of one of his brothers, and they had to rush the remaining two to the hospital.
I felt sick, and I was rushed to the hospital. As at that time, we were three in that compound, Oladunni Balogun compound. We were three that fell sick at the same time. The first one fell sick and he died. So I was the second one that fell sick. So I was rushed to the hospital. And the third person actually also fell sick and was rushed to Tradio Medical Center. So on getting to the hospital, they just said, okay, I was sick, and they injected me. So after the injection, I was brought back home, hoping that I would be fine. But when I got home, my parents noticed that I couldn't stand. I started walking. I started standing while I was 18 months. I was that fast while growing up, to walk. So, and they noticed I couldn't stand, I couldn't do anything. And they noticed that, my legs and, are not moving anymore. So I was rushed to Igbobi. So it was when I got to Igbobi, and they tried to, apply some, I don't know, the treatment, and they discovered that, hey, this is polio. So that was, what really happened while I was growing up. So my parents initially do not know that it was polio. Aside from, taking me to the hospital and, considering the age and time then, so they apply, some radiomedical, what's it called now also. So that's basically what they do, basically. They take me to the Igbobi here and then, and they apply both traditional method of, treatment for me around that time.
Growing up was tough as a child living with disability in Nigeria, but the most challenging was having to join the bus in Lagos State daily.
So growing up, it was rough, being, someone with disabilities, and the fact that, the society will want to, subject you to a particular orientation. So they want to feel that you having that disability is actually, bad, right? So there are so many things when I was growing up that they will seclude, and they tend to subject, persons with disability to a kind of a secluded, a section of the society. And that I actually, I was, part of that illusion, that I was part of that, sentiment of the society. That when they want to do stuff, they will like, no, he's disabled. No, you don't have to involve him. Even some things that you naturally can do, right? So they will just believe that, oh, he doesn't have the capacity to, to do that. So I've always, loved football. While I was, growing up, I've always loved football. I've always wanted to play, football and soccer. And the fact that I'm disabled, I'll be, secluded from that. I will go to the field I want to keep. I want, if I even if it's keeping, I want to, I want to be a goalkeeper. Let me put it that way. So I want to be a goalkeeper. They were like, Femi Mashireleche, this, that. And, that's that, about that. And, jumping the bus in Lagos, because I grew up in Lagos, has not been friendly. You have to wait, and before you know it, they rush, and, people will enter the car, the bus, or even before you, right? So those things are, a bit, they are not a bit, they are very, very challenging. Especially, when I get admission to school, when I was more exposed to Lagos life, to Lagos, city life, that was so challenging for me. And also, there are a lot of activities while growing up that, when your peers are playing, you won't be able to play. You get what I'm saying? You won't be able to play with them because, maybe they want to, do, there's this activity they do then, Lagos stop. I call on all of those things, I could not, do it because of my situation, because people were like, Femi, don't worry. So it has been, very, very challenging. There's this, I don't know if it's just peculiar to me or peculiar with, every other persons living with disabilities or persons with polio. I remember while growing up, it got to a time that I used to be ashamed of myself, right? Why? Because I can't walk a long distance without slumping, or wanting to fall down, or, you get what I'm saying? Like, I can't walk like 3 miles and I want to fall down. And that, really occurs to me, probably in a public place when I was going, if I'm going out, and probably I was going out with friends, and we were talking, going out, and I want to, something, I see if I hit my leg against something, it's stones or something, but I want to fall down. At times I will just fall down. And, the shame when I fell down or fall down, the shame, I'll just look at myself and like, come on. So, I started taking calcium. So I grew up taking calcium. It got to the time I was fed up. I was so tired of calcium because, that was the remedy they prescribed then. So those are the challenges I faced, while growing up. And
all right. Another challenge that left him in tears was when ladies brutally turned him down and bluntly told him it's because of his disability.
Yeah, while I was growing up, there's this lady I like so much, and I tried to, talk to her. And I guess we've gone out some couple of times, like we went out twice. And I never knew she was, probably ashamed of me. She was like, hey, Femi, I know you're a very good person, kind-hearted. I like your personality, but I don't like the way you walk. So, and the day she said that, it was that day that I realized that, oh, Femi, you are truly disabled. You get what I'm saying? So there was a state of, mental imbalance. I cried. I wept bitterly that very day. And I was, blaming God. Why would you create me this way? Why would you, make me to be disabled and stuff like that? So that has been, because I've never heard that before in my life. And there's another instance of a lady who was like, okay, Femi, okay, I know you are disabled. Does it really affect your sexual life? A lady I was, asking out, and we're good as at that time. So what she was concerned about is if it really affects my sexual life. And I find it so embarrassing for a lady that, you cherish so much, you claim you love, to wanting to leave my disability, affected my sexual life. So it's so embarrassing. I've faced a lot of stuff, from, ladies, wanting to know how, my disability affects, my sexual life, and how, my disability, some people felt it's hereditary. I remember some lady asked me, like, so if you give birth, are you going to give birth to someone with to a child with disability? I was like, come on. This is polio. You can go ahead and, make your research about polio. You can go ahead and stop.
Advising persons living with disabilities, Femi says.
Living with disability in Nigeria, I know it could be very, very tough because I've passed through that stage, and I'm in another country, and I know the way persons with disabilities are treated. I know it could be tough. I know it could be tough, especially when you have the government, when you have a government or a system that is not supportive. I know it could be tough when you have to do wise as able people. I know it is tough when you try to present yourself the way you are, and the society will want to neglect you, want to see you different way. I know it is tough, doing things. I know it is tough, trying to be who God has made you to be. I know it is tough for you to gather the strength to be able to go about your daily activities just like every other normal person. But I want you to know that you are special. I want you to know that don't see yourself, even if the society has seen you as someone with disability, don't see yourself as someone with disability. You have to see yourself as someone that is able, right? Even if the society push you so hard, wanting to neglect you, even wanting to seclude you, you have to prove to the society that, hey, you can do better. And we have good examples of, Cobams, we have good examples of my host right now. We have good examples of, a whole lot of people that, that are lawyers that, don't allow people's orientation about disability to weigh you down. Because in Nigeria, I know that, disabilities are being related to, poverty. That is, once you are disabled, you are poor automatically. And I know that, there's this special way, the society look at you, look at us, persons living with disability. But we have to, change the orientation. We have to make them think that we are better than what they want to make of us. So don't allow the society to subject you. Don't allow the society to limit your potential. There's more you can achieve. There's a lot you can achieve out there. So please begin to see strength in your disability. It's a special way, it's a special strength that God has given you. So there's more you can do. Don't limit yourself. Don't say, hey, because I'm disabled, I want to go to the street to go back. Don't say, because I'm disabled, I cannot achieve this, I cannot achieve that, I cannot. See, please try as much as possible to prove to them, to prove to the society that, hey, this is not me. You cannot subject me to this. You cannot limit me. You cannot subject me to this seclusion. You cannot. I am more than who you think I am. My name is Femi Oladuni. I'm a Nigerian. I reside in the US. I work with the Indiana State Department of Health. I am beyond challenges.
We explain why the inclusion of people with disabilities is good for everyone. Meet Sarah. She's a smart girl who loves to sing and help her mother to cook. When she grows up, she wants to be a teacher and get married. Sarah has cerebral palsy caused by partial damage to the brain and therefore uses a wheelchair to move around. She's an outgoing person, and whenever she needs help, she asks for it. But while Sarah can do most things herself, she faces many barriers. Some people's attitudes, as well as physical and economic barriers, make life difficult for Sarah. They say she can't be in a choir, and so far, no school has accepted her. If Sarah can't go to school, she won't find a job, and without a job, she will always be dependent on others. This is not only a waste of her skills, it's a violation of her right to proper education. But what can be done? It's not that hard. Everybody around Sarah can help her to live her life to the fullest and gain back her rights. We need to raise awareness, for example, in education programs. That way, Sarah's community understands the nature of her disability. After setting up a local support group for parents of children with disabilities, Sarah's mother can share her experiences with others. Now, the head teacher of the closest school knows that it's Sarah's right, like any other child, to be educated well. Teachers can get disability-specific training and support from a resource centre when needed. And we need to reduce physical barriers. Building wider doorways and wheelchair ramps benefits the elderly too. When given appropriate materials, people with visual impairments can study anything. With fewer barriers, a proper education and awareness in the community, Sarah has the same chance as others of getting the job she wants. Instead of depending on others, she is appreciated for who she really is, a person of many abilities. Whether someone uses a wheelchair, lives with vision or hearing problems, or has an intellectual or other disability, let's make sure our society includes them.
Well, you've heard it all from Femi Oladuni. Being a person living with disability in Nigeria is tough because you have to put in twice the effort. However tough it might be, don't let that be your limitation. Don't let them limit you. Don't let them tell you no. Until next week when I'll bring you another interesting personality, don't forget to join us on social media. On our Facebook is Beyond Challenges with Folajogun Akinlami, and on Instagram is simply Beyond Challenges. Until then, my name is Folajogun Akinlami and I am Beyond Challenges. What about you?
I can stand over anything. I can walk another mile. I can climb over anything if you are by my side. You and I can be anything if we only take the time